we go. Okay.
My name's Victoria Bateman, and as a feminist, I'm passionate about freedom.
Hi, my name is Benjamin Boyce, and as a person who likes freedom, I too am passionate about freedom.
And that includes women's freedom to do what they want with their own bodies.
And that includes the freedom to argue in good faith as one can argue, with somebody who's making absurd claims and displaying very threadbare processes of thought,
irrespective of what the state or society might think.
Irrespective of how low hanging that fruit might be.
So what does Brexit have to do with freedom? Well, I think for a lot of people who voted for Brexit, Brexit concerns greater freedom for the nation state, greater freedom for Britain to cast aside its shackles from the European Union.
And here's where the first substantive move in her argument occurs, where she opines, without any data, I mean, there's no charts or graphs, along with the clothes they have been cast upon the floor. She opines that Brexit was voted into, Brexitization by a voting bloc that wanted to let Britain have the freedom to act according to what's good for Britain.
But where does individual freedom feature in all of the discussions that we've had during and after the referendum? When I look back over my own life, my individual freedom, my freedom to move, to pursue educational and career opportunities, and to find like-minded people has been absolutely essential to my happiness.
So she doesn't say where her freedom of movement comes from. She just says that it's essential to her happiness.
And I believe that every individual should be entitled to those same freedoms to make the most of their lives, no matter where they're born or to whom.
So she's saying that Britain should allow everybody else to have the same freedoms that she, as a natural-born Britanite or British individual, should have. So it's Britain's responsibility to bequeath the freedom that it gives to its citizens to everybody else that wants this.
Now, when you think about the history of the European Union, it's a history that doesn't involve taking for granted individual freedoms.
She, again, provides no data for this. She makes a claim that the European Union is founded on ensuring the rights of the individual.
That acknowledges the fact that throughout history, including in the 20th century, nation-states have at times ridden roughshod, trampled on individual freedom. So the European Union concerns individual nation-states working together to keep a check on each other to make sure that individual rights are upheld.
Let's follow her argument. Her first step is to say that she is a feminist, and therefore she wants a woman to be free to do whatever she wants with her body. Then she moves on to say that Brexit is about Britain having the freedom to do whatever it wants with its own resources. Then she moves on to say that her freedom to associate, and this is all free association, basically. Her freedom to associate is very valuable to her. Then she says that the European Union is founded on ensuring individual freedoms, and that over the course of history, nation states have trampled roughshod over individual freedoms. And so the European Union is about these nation states coming together to protect the rights of the individual. Now, how does an even bigger bureaucratic apparatus ensure much stronger the freedom of the individual? So it seems to me that she's saying that the European Union for some reason, it's founded on ensuring individual freedom. And that ensuring of individual freedom is actually giving everybody access to the same amount of freedom. And so the European Union's job is to bequeath to the entire world all the resources that afford its citizens the ability to be free. And insofar as Britain is saying, no, we want our resources to be for us to ensure our own freedom, it is betraying that greater freedom that is being ensured by the European Union. But where does that freedom come from? Does it come from just this ideal, this hope that everybody will respect me if I just cast off my clothes? If I open my gates, everybody's going to come in and be respectful to everybody else? How do you ensure that everybody will ensure the freedom of everybody else unless there's this greater authoritarian body that is squashing the freedom and defining freedom for every single person and every individual group of people within that union? You cede your freedom to this bureaucratic apparatus in exchange for some other resource, right? So you yield up your taxes, you yield up the freedom to choose what to do with this portion of your income in order that you get resources to you in the form of, let's say, roads and infrastructure and stuff like that, and police force and other different sorts of laws. There's an exchange going on. However, she's living entirely in her own head, that she wants to be free to make any sort of statement, and everybody has to agree to her terms of contest. You cannot point out the fact that she is literally naked, and that literally violates me being able to take her seriously. Well, let's get over that point. Let's get over that level, just the surface absurdity, and then go to the next level to perceive that she's using her nudity to completely distract you from her inability to actually make a substantive argument, and to distract you from all of the holes in her argument, all of the windows into the nudity of her empty mind. Sorry, it's not empty. She is a doctor after all. And we all know that academics are completely immune to stupidity.
And so as far as I'm concerned...
And then she does this. Her whole argumentation, and she does this in every video she does. She makes a statement that she doesn't qualify, and then she makes another statement that she doesn't qualify, and then she says, so, as if those two unqualified statements qualify the third statement. Nothing's ever substantiated. Nothing's ever built on anything substantial that I've seen. No data. It's just assertion, 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 assertion. It's this perfectly airheaded, ephemeral, bubble, rapid, kind of juicy kind of interactivity with you that stimulates you in such a way that doesn't actually give you anything to work with, other than, yay, I guess she's against Brexit and I'm against Brexit, so I guess I'm just as naked as her now.
And so as far as I'm concerned, Brexit is something that leaves our individual rights as British citizens vulnerable.
Vulnerable to what? Vulnerable to what? As far as I'm concerned, as far as she is concerned, is not an argument.
And it's for those two reasons why I honestly believe Brexit leaves Britain naked, and why I'm sitting in front of you naked today, and why I'm going out into the world protesting about Brexit naked.
So, in the end, she has this one shtick that she does. She is naked. And then she says, my nudity is a metaphor for this other thing. And she doesn't take the time to actually make that connection make sense. Her movement, she thinks, is so powerful that she doesn't actually have to follow through and make a detailed, substantive argument. She can completely skip that, just like she skips everything but the thought that, oh, this is just like being naked. Like that's the amount of thought she put into this. You have this thing over here, and you have this thing over here, and therefore you have this other thing. And that's all she does. She just shuffles around these statements that aren't even really thoughts in and of themselves. They're just kind of perceptions of an observation. What is it all based on? It's based on the fact that she can get away with this, and that she can get notoriety for this. This is a perfect example of bullshit. It's not a lie. It's not a truth. It's just stimulus. And it's just something that we're just supposed to go along with. What are you doing, Bjorno? Go get him. Go get him, buddy. What are you doing, dude? Get it.